Wrobel has devoted his career to serving the construction industry, is a community college professor of skilled trades and engineering technologies, and is no stranger to politics. He served Ward 4 as a Brantford City Councillor for 3 terms. He's run for mayor and as an independent for the last provincial election. This time, he's running for the People's Party of Canada for Brantford Brant MP.
No, I've actually enjoyed politics long before I actually moved back to Brantford. I kind of was involved in it, participated, but when I came back to Brantford, I was concerned about what was going back on. This goes back to '97. And a friend of the family said, you know, instead of complaining about it, Dave, do something about it. Put your money where your mouth is. So, of course, I ran for municipal council. A very good learning curve in 1997. Again, I was back in 2000 to be elected. So in that time frame, I've had a chance to serve our community of Brantford 3 terms on council for a total of 10 years. Great education, great experience, great people to work with and work for. Of course, it wasn't enough. It was that wanted to serve more, so I ran for mayor. Not successful from the eyes of getting elected and sitting in the mayor's seat, but from my point of view, incredibly successful because I've had the opportunity to learn more responsibility, to learn a little bit more about the ins and outs, not just at a councilor's level, but at a larger leadership role. And of course, the same thing in the province. I'm not sitting in the provincial seat, Will Bowman is. But the experience, the knowledge, all culminated together to put me here today, which is where I'm at for the PPC.
Not many are familiar with the People's Party of Canada, as it was formed by Maxime Bernier on September 14th of 2018, shortly after his resignation from the Conservative Party. Wrobel explains what the party is all about, noting it's not about party politics.
I want to stay away from this left and right. If you look at the platform of the People's Party and their general vision and their ideology, if you will, they look at fairness, freedom, responsibility, and respect. Core values that I've carried with me even in my earlier years of politics as a municipal councillor. It's very grassroots, very populist oriented. The party itself is a multi-ethnic party. It has everybody from every walk of life, from every sexual orientation, all have the same fundamental values, and that's being a Canadian. So I can simply put it this way. We're neither left nor right. We are Canadians and will always be Canadians serving Canadian values.
Wrobel says for the People's Party of Canada, there are many issues facing Canadians.
And on federal politics, this is a very tough one to do because at grassroots it's very easy because those are decisions that municipal councillors make every single day. So I think some of the fundamentals we have to look at are now on a larger scale, on a national scale. So we're going to look at things like immigration, taxation, because it affects everybody right from industry at a provincial level, down to municipal level, to the homeowners, to people who work in industry. So we have the taxation. We want to start looking at people's rights and responsibilities, looking at how we work and relate from province to province and freeing up intertrade from an economic standpoint of view, taking down some of those barriers. Let's work together as a nation as opposed to putting up walls. So these are just some of them. We've had phone calls from people in the county who are saying, Dave, what about gun rights? What about gun policies? What about our agriculture? Well, we're sitting back and saying, yes, there's a lot that has to be addressed in every single fashion. So, but it's all nationally. What I'm hoping to come out of this is that we create a degree of autonomy provincially and municipally and give them more responsibility and more ownership in the stake. Government, in my opinion, and the PPC, I firmly believe, this is not a trickle-down organization. This is a bottom-up. In other words, municipal sets to the province sets to the feds, and that's the way that should be. And let's give them the tools to do their jobs effectively to represent the people.
Wrobel has been busy knocking on doors and meeting with constituents and is hearing a number of complaints.
Core issues at the door, well, we're going to start with some of the touchy ones. The immigration policy. Some people are just completely angry that we would even broach that subject. And we're sitting there saying, there's not one party that's saying no to immigration. The PPC is specifically saying, let's be responsible about that immigration, just like it was in post-World War I, post-World War II, and even before, at the turn of the century in industrialization. We had immigration coming from China, Japan, Scotland, England, Europe, all kinds of countries. They came to Canada because of Canadian values or Western values. We now adopt as Canadian values, and they became part of Canada, not an inflection of they're bringing what they had and trying to change the identity. They wanted to be here for the freedoms that we offered, the ability to work as they offered, and they came with the skills, and they came with the trades, and they came with the ambition to make a better life for them and their families. So there are people at the door that are frustrated. Why are we doing this? And we're not. We're just saying, let's be responsible. Let's, instead of saying 350,000 a year, we're saying 150,000 a year. And if you follow everybody else's policies, well, then becomes the argument of, wait a second, in 6 years, that's an entire eastern seaboard of provinces, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia, just in immigration to our country. So now it becomes, well, what are we going to do for Canada? Well, I always use that adage, and this is right at the doors. What are you going to do to make a difference? And I say, well, if you've got a leaky roof, you want to fix it, correct? Yes. But if you have the money in your bank, are you going to go across town, or are you going to go to another city and give them your money to fix their leaky roof? And everybody at the door anybody, whether it's at the street or at the door, and I spoke with, are going, no, I'm fixing my own. Well, wait a second, we've got homeless people here. We have medical concerns, and while medical is not federal, there's still a component of it for transfers and payments that go down to the provinces. We have veterans, we have our first emergency services. All of this is a struggle that we're watching. So we're saying, let's fix our problems before we start bringing in more immigration. Let's start fixing our problems, because the environment is another hot potato that people want to go at. Nobody's saying no, there isn't climate change. We're just saying no to the hysteria that's being created, the emergency crisis, climate emergency, climate crisis. Taxation on climate doesn't solve the problems. So these are the types of issues. What are we doing? Well, we're collecting tax, which really is taxing the air that you and I are breathing. As soon as you say that, people are going, what are they doing with the tax money? Well, they're not fixing the problem here, they're fixing it somewhere else. It's no different than your roof. So all of a sudden you see this relationship between our environment, our immigration, we're seeing it in and amongst how we do with trade. They all intertwine. And we need to start working on home first. Then let's reach out and be what we've done for years as Canadians. Let's reach out and help other people.
That was Dave Wrobel for the People's Party of Canada. Tune in to BRANT.one daily for a new candidate profile. Our riding includes the city of Brantford, most of Brant County, and all of Six Nations and credit of the Mississaugas, with 107,800 eligible voters. And all of the candidates are urging you to get out and vote on October 21st, regardless of who you support.